Yeah, I didn't really know where we're gonna go with that. It doesn't mean I'm incompetent, it just means I just didn't know what to do. I have a habit of doing that, yeah, but Oh, hi, I'm LiamTheMusicReviewer, and today I'm so sorry for the video you're about to watch. I'm so sorry. Not sorry enough that I'm gonna stand up for this whole review, because I'm not gonna do that to myself. So just catch me down, just 2 seconds. All comfy. Oh. So anyway, you guys ready for a belated roundup? I know I did a live stream of them, but I just feel like I'd much rather put them in this sort of just format. For it's been a long time, and we're gonna review 100 albums here. I'm gonna try and make them as short and snappy as I can. Obviously, the later we go on, the better they are. I'll probably take a bit more time. That's also another thing. I'm not going to be rating them anymore. They're all going to be kind of categorized. If you want to know my ratings, you can go to my Rate Your Music. And if you want more in-depth stuff, I'll have my album of the year also linked down in the description below. But without further ado, before anything else goes wrong, let's get into it. And I'll also be doing a little timer up here. So I hope you're ready. So in 3, 2, 1, we're going to do it. So 3, 2, 1. Probably should have got all that sorry before we started. I didn't do that. At high school, I crashed into a cabin during some sort of skiing lesson. It was painful. It was humiliating. I would rather relive that for the next month than have to go through this absolute torture session of an indie rock album. It is absolutely horrible and maybe my least favourite album of the year. I do get some like ironic pleasure from this release, but I can't deny just how much of a headache of an attempt at kind of like punk rock rap it is. Just it's a little bit humiliating. Maybe you'll get something out of it, or maybe you'll join me in just pointing at the boomer and laughing your head off. My name on Twitter is Blanck Clairo, follow me, but I have it named as that because Blink-182 were one of those bands I liked a lot, and definitely used to like, because now I just feel like after California, an album I thought was okay, but now do not like at all. 9 just goes to show that they are just not maturing at all, and they should just be a legacy band because they just do not know how to get anything across as in just pure, unfiltered Winston Justin pop punk. It's bad. So it's meant to be like kind of like a whole wedding concept album, and like the worst kind of wedding you can go to is overly long. Everyone's just embarrassing each other. There's like torrential weather, maybe a hot shower going on. Definitely think it's a bit too like hated, because I do think the opener is pretty decent with John Legend, and then Sun Comes Down I think is a song where it feels like that should be the ending song. It feels like there's a lot of just that Chance the Rapper soppiness, but to like a digestible amount. But yeah, this is definitely one of the weaker releases of the year. This is an easy punching bag of a record, and you need chemistry for an album like this to work, and I feel like the only person that seems to have any chemistry with Ed Sheeran is Stormzy. Stormzy does decent on here. He's definitely like saved this from being totally horrible, but oh my god, Ed Sheeran talking about pints and packets of crisps, just like, this is what you get paid millions for, mate. Good for you. This is just somebody with auto-tune reading for the TV guide, and it's just, I can definitely see somebody getting some sort of like kind of enjoyment out of it because it just sounds so daft, but it's just, nothing's developed enough, and in a way I'm glad nothing is developed enough, because 11 minutes of this was just enough for me. That was enough. I grew up in a Catholic family, so I feel like I'm open-minded enough to the concept of a really religious record like this. But oh my god, this is not it. What Kanye takes away from like the teachings of God are just, he's just obviously going in with the absolute worst thing in mind. That he's just not endearing in the slightest on here. The production is bad. They had to patch this album to make Pusha T be on beat. No, Sorry, this sucks. This is easily the worst thing Kanye's ever done. He's never done anything bad or to make bad music. Absolutely not. I have to, by law, I need to say that Lewis Capaldi is a good person before I slag his music off. It's just really one note. He's got like a Frank Ocean collaborator on here, and it just is just, you wouldn't be able to notice. When I got told this by a friend, I was like, wait, what? So yeah, Lewis Capaldi, don't beat me up, but I didn't. That I very much didn't enjoy this album of yours. I want to call this a fall from grace. It really isn't, because Schoolboy Q hasn't ever been like properly great, even though I think Oxymoron is a good album. But I just never want to hear this again. Just at every turn, just he's doing himself no favours. Chopsticks might be one of my least favourite songs of the year. I never ever want to hear that again in my puff. Wait, so you're telling me somebody from Epic Rap Battles of History made an album and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And I shouldn't review it. But I've got a rate your music scale here, and it's dying. It's so thirsty. So thirsty, so yeah. I think is that dog calming down? Okay. No. Yeah, the title track is, it's kind of cool, bar that Prodigy sample. It makes me want to vomit. But it's just another ASAP Ferg release. Just take that as you will. Hobo Johnson definitely has a voice that appeals to a certain demographic. I'm not part of that demographic. I thought the Subaru song was kind of funny. It was entertaining at least. But that You and the Cockroach song, it was one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. So for that, no album that had a song as bad as that can be anything more than subpar. IDK just does not have the focus or the insight or the ability to execute this sort of album about religion in a tolerable way. So, funnily enough, he managed to make a better religious album than Kanye, but that is not saying anything at all. The kind of album that makes you want to lose faith. I hope no one's made that joke yet. It's no secret that I'm a little Pete fan, and this album just made me very sad. It's just a shameless cash grab. At least part 2 of Come Over When You're Sober last year felt like some sort of work that was being done and then just got cut short as like Pete died. This one just feels like these studio execs have went to the fridge, took whatever cloud wrap ingredients they could, make the worst fucking dish ever. Or that's being a bit hyperbolic. I think I'm just angry because the only good songs on here are things like Witchblade, which are songs that came out just ages ago. So yeah, very, very shameless album. Old Town Road's a good song. It doesn't have to be on here twice. And Panini is fine and daft. I wish this album was more of that, just fun, daft, but I find the rest of it to be a bit of a slog, and it's only like 7 or 8 tracks long, so it really shouldn't feel that way. I really hope the Little Nas just starts to just kind of like, now that he's getting more and more experience, like maybe he'll just make something like a Benito Generation where it's kind of like wholesome, kind of daft fun for the most part, even though I've already gone to this whole thing about Benito Generation before anyway. I'm going to get to that later on. The first minute of this is pretty cool, and I was kind of hoping that the rest of the album would be like that, but it seems like Pharmacon just showed their hand and then just like took the rest of the day off and just left whatever instruments we're using just to play on. That's what it felt like to me. Just it's a very shallow album. I did not want to go back to it. I thought I would enjoy this a bit more because I'm like a recent Dialect convert, but no, it's just very stagnant. Pierre's just not a good rapper, and what would have just been just like a whatever album is brought down majorly by all that fucking Pierre, come out here, like all that, like every minute, just oh bad man. Beer Bongs and Bentley, or Bentleys, sorry. It was a good wee album. It was definitely one of the biggest surprises of last year. I thought maybe there'd be a bit more progress, especially because Sunflower as well, which is on this album, is a really, really good song. I would have put it on like my song of the year list last year, but I just didn't get around to it in time. Nothing else on here is worthwhile. The crooning, the vocal inflections are just, they make me uneasy. So no, this was, yeah, a bit of a disappointment. 2019 proved that YouTubers are capable of making good music. It also proved that they're capable of still making bad music. Tabby, whenever he does any reviews, he's always like super passionate about it. Like the best ones anyway, when he's super passionate, he really cares about something, and I admire that. But when it comes to music, it seems like he's just got no ability to do this in a tasteful way. It just feels like he's just being a bit of a copycat, and it's not interesting. It's not enjoyable. It could be far more excruciating. But it's thankfully it's not as bad as it possibly could be. But I'm not bothering with this stuff from now on. It's just how it is. I wanted to like this more than I ended up doing because Fort's Witness was one of the best albums of 2017. There's definitely some good songs on here, like Far From Born Again, and the other one about gaslighting. I think it was just called Gaslight. But yeah, some like the title track on here it just feels like an amateur attempt to what Alex Cameron's done before, and some of the production throughout just feels it just hasn't got that life to it that I'm used to from Alex Cameron. So yeah, bit of a letdown. Songs like Sunrise are good, and there's some other good cuts on there as well. But yeah, as far as the film soundtrack, I wasn't really expecting all that much from it, and it kind of fell into the same kind of pitfalls that kind of mediocre film soundtracks do, where you're kind of thinking to yourself, I hope this doesn't go on much longer, and it does. The purely instrumental songs on here aren't all that interesting either. Maybe this makes more sense when you've seen the movie, but I feel like a film soundtrack should still sound good even if you've not seen the movie, and this is just whatever release. Black Bull and Wash Off are good songs from this. The rest is a complete and utter disappointment. Songs that just feel like they were meant to be on What Went Down, and they just chucked them on here like The Runner. And just any attempts to really be like harder and heavier just very rarely ever pay off. So yeah, this one hurt. If you love this album, I have reason to believe you either have a Scrabble addiction, or maybe you just like this kind of like surreal version of pop and love it happening over again and again and again. It's like 99 songs or something. I'm just gonna assume you're in it for the Scrabbles, and I'm not here to judge. Just a little bit. This is like a semi-entertaining release, but one of these days, and maybe it's already happened because I know that Poppy's been releasing new music since I listened to this, but they're gonna have to choose properly about what sound of theirs they really want to properly just channel and really perfect. Because at this point, they just seem to be kind of just trying to balance the two, and it's really just working against their music. It really is. So yeah, hopefully since then they've managed to go all in on what they think's best for them. There's a moment or two of greatness on this album, but the majority, the rest of it, it's just Rich Brian just going through the motions. It just gets quite monotonous. I did a bigger review with Buffalo Staple on this. Funnily enough, it was such a good review that he just stopped making reviews after that. Don't check. Just take me my word there. He definitely did that. I'm obviously quite a fan of this new wave of abstract and experimental hip hop that's going on. It's always been about, but this has been more so in the past year or so of some rap songs, and really making it seem to be a bit more obvious. This Slouse and Malone one's still a bit too vapid. I can't quite latch on to it. It's more of an instrumental hip hop record, but more so experimental. But yeah, there's some really great gold nuggets in there, but it's just not quite enough for me, I'm afraid. This doesn't have to be this long, but regardless of the fact that a good chunk of it does kind of suck a little bit, like Me, You'd Calm Down, The Man, yeah, those songs suck, but there's still some pretty good songs on here. The Archer is the one that comes to mind right away. So it's not without some value, but it's the second weakest Taylor Swift album for me. That being said, all the best with the whole Scooter Braun situation. Fuck that guy. So this band are actually the ones that were behind the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World soundtrack, or for the game anyway, which was pretty good. I kind of gutted and checked this out sooner because of that background. And yeah, it's super energetic. They literally have a song titled after the default Photoshop font that pops up whenever you click on something, like Lorem Ipsum I think it is, and it goes in. It's very epic. Sadly, a little bit too one note at times for me, and that's a complaint you're probably going to hear quite a fair bit. It's something that holds back a lot of albums that are not quite diverse, but it still very much kept my attention all the way through. No prior experience with this East Coast rapper. The features he has on here are pretty good, for the most part anyway. I'm thinking more Black Thought and Pusha T, and Benny himself has proven himself to be someone worth giving the time of day. Other people on here, just I can't even remember who. That's how little attention they seem to demand. And the production can range from being pretty gorgeous and really beautiful keys in some of these tracks, but other times just feel just kind of defaulty to me. So yeah, not quite EP of the year like I know it is for some people, but still liked it. So I did a fuller review on this Brockhampton album with my good friend in the sun, David Rowe. He's now living on the streets because this pretty much bankrupted him. It was that long a review, but you know, comes with the turf. This album, to simplify my thoughts on it, I think it's good. Some of the track listing kind of sucks. A song or two on here sucks. But you've got songs like No Halo, Boy Bye, Love Me for Life that I think are all phenomenal. There's plenty to chew on here to digest in an enjoyable fashion. So yeah, I don't think it's their worst album either, but we'll leave that for another day. Been waiting on this album for a hot second, like this new era of Charli, like getting a fully fleshed out album form. And I think I would say I like it. Gone's one of the best songs of the year, like hands down. Like, oh my god, the chemistry between Christine and Charli is just unreal. And there's some other really great songs on here, like to the point where I was really thinking of just putting this in the category above, but I do think that some of the solo songs just feel like Charli just padding it out, and some of the collabs as well, like the Heim song, just I don't know why they're there. So I'm a little bit let down, but I still am coming back to this album a fair bit, so it's fair to say that I think it's still quite good. Clairo's still got some way to go when it comes to her vocals in terms of like really selling these songs, but I think she's quite the step up now. The song Bags is unreal. Some of the melodies on here too are super sick, and just the production in general, just feel like there's a huge step up. It just feels so warm and fuzzy, even if the emotions shown throughout can be very like fractured or heartbreaking. Yeah, I did enjoy this far more than I was expecting to. So yeah, Clairo's definitely gonna be my radar a lot more now. Because I didn't really used to like her all that much, like the Hot Cheetos and the Diary EP she put out. But this one, I like a lot. Enough that it's on here anyway. I was quite a big fan of this Denzel Curry project earlier in the year, but it's kind of went off me a little bit when I've been revisiting it. Like Automatic just sounds derivative. Sometimes it just sounds like Denzel's just making stuff up. I don't know if this was like mainly improv or not, but sometimes it feels that level of clumsy. That being said, the song Ricky goes in. There's also the closer PAT, which is just like full on nearly like a horror song. Like it is just so in your face, and I love it. So if there was more of that, I think I would probably be more fond of it. But as it stands, less ambitious, a bit less good than Taboo, but still I enjoy it. If you like some rap songs, you're still gonna find something to like in this latest project. They're very, very similar. I don't like this as much as I like some rap songs. I think it's a bit more flawed. I think the production just isn't anywhere near as attention grabbing or as mood creating, especially the song East. That shit just annoys me. It annoys me. And some of the features on here, I think Mavi, I remember being pretty good, so there was at least that. And Earl's never gonna like put in a bad performance on an album. Like I think even if you don't really like Doris all that much, you know there's definitely bars on there that you come back to. And the same with this one. So yeah, bit of a disappointment, but definitely not without any merit. Freddie Gibbs is a very competent rapper. He's great at all these tales about like having like a target in your back, and just kind of like making your way up in like the criminal underworld and that. But he's just got too much of a monotone kind of like flow or just like voice for me to like really latch on to it. Mad Lib's production, on the other hand, constantly keeping my attention. he just knows what to do. He just always knows what to do. And the features on here, I just didn't really feel either way about it. I don't think I would lose sleep if they were to just magically disappear overnight. You'd maybe think I'd hate this because of JFO TV, but this one just seems to be more wacky, just having more fun, has a bit more of like tongue-in-cheek, so much it's probably about like choking its tongue. It's just a lot of fun. The songwriting could be a bit more deep. It does feel kind of shallow at times. But it's just a wacky, crude, just fun time. Each of these artists, Igloo Ghost, Kai Winston, and Baby or Babby, I don't know how you meant to say it, they're all good on their own merits, but when it comes to collaborating, I think that some voices get overshadowed at times. I do think sometimes it just feels it's getting a bit held back, it's a bit too diluted. So hopefully when it comes to XYZ squared, or they end up calling it, it'll be a bit more fun. But at the same point, I think I can see myself kind of like growing to like this a lot more. Some of the Igloo Ghost EP from last year that wasn't too big on Steel Mogu, I feel myself getting a bit warmer than that, even though I still have my problems with it. So chances are I'll probably have him with this one again. Kevin Abstract, man, you were frustrating me with this album. Should have probably just kept like a really good EP, because like stuff like Peach and Georgia, wow, just some of the best stuff that he's ever put out. But then there's just other songs where just like, he just seems to just like intentionally just wanting to be like just undercutting himself, just like with like weird vocal effects, or just like lyrically just seems to just being going nowhere. But yeah, I like it, but it just definitely was an album that I want to love even more, but it's doing everything in its power to just not let me. So this is the second King Gizzard album of the year, and I've not listened to the first one, so I can't really say if I think it's better, but I think their attempt at thrash metal is at the very least admirable. It brings some great moments to it. It just feels like an alternate take in like the whole sort of like you know, like Doom the game, like just kind of like talking about like kind of like consumerism, like capitalism just like taking over the universe, just like making stuff just shittier. And I think the way they go about it sounds just really cool. It just gets a bit sort of like one note. I wish there was a bit more variety. But I don't know, like if they were to go back to the sound, I don't think I'd be up in arms about it. I'd be interested to see how much more they could flesh it out. So this is a accompanying companion project from the same artist behind Weather Day. This one's got the kind of heart that you'd expect from it. I do think that the kind of soundscapes and arrangements just aren't quite as invigorating, or as just kind of like, it doesn't like really form the mood as much as I would like it to. But I do think there's a lot of sincerity in what's being said, to the point where by the end of it I was definitely intrigued, and it did make me want to go immediately over to Weather Day to see like how it might tie over. So maybe hopefully it'll blossom a bit more and kind of grow on me. But as it stands, like, yeah, it seems like to be one that people were kind of overlooking a little bit, considering like the Weather Day album's been getting a fair bit of attention, so I'd say give this a go. Lizzo's a big personality and just kind of like always puts in what seems like 110%. I know that's not like something people can do, but you know what I mean. The production seems to be doing the exact same here, because sometimes he just does not know when to like kind of wind down a little bit, just like reel it in. And it kind of removes that sort of subtlety. Sometimes you can just feel like you're gonna like get a headache sometimes from just how it just never seems just like take a chill pill at points. But still some fantastic songs on here, like Juice, Like a Girl, and I'm starting to grow on tempo a little bit, even if I'm still not sure what I may call it, but like I'm starting to like, when I hear it on, I'm like, okay, I can get into this. But I do think the production, the mastering is like a massive detriment to it at the moment. So this one is definitely, I don't think anyone I know has checked this out yet. It seems to be kind of getting like sort of just like, yeah, like so much stuff comes out nowadays, you're always going to have some stuff just like not going to get much attention. I would check this out, especially if you're into any cloud rap, if you're into like Blade and whatnot. I think this does a better job at what Blade tries to do than what he does. Because I just think there's just more, even though it's like, oh, it's got that same like artificialness to it, there's still like a strong beating heart through all of it. Besides some like kind of clumsy lyrics and just sort of just like kind of clumsy effects at times. But overall, you can tell that like there's some genuine effort made here. And like I say, there's just that big nice artificial but genuine heart just like pumping along. Another victim of this whole like being a bit too one note this month / year, just like all the time. But there's no denying like the passion and intensity that this group have. So even if I think that I would like a bit more variety, I still can't deny that I was completely just like paying attention. Maybe that's what made the lack of variety stand out, is because like they just I was totally just like, I need to give this like 100% of my attention. So kind of like a double-edged sword there. Yeah, it's just like a lovely cut slice of dream pop, just like those lush vocals, just like soothing, easy. Like it's definitely not breaking any boundaries here, but as far as I know, this is one of like the first like projects that they've put out, so only time will tell like what they end up doing with it. But I would give this a look if you're into your dream pop at all, because you're not gonna be wasting your time. You're gonna end up coming out of it feeling very lovely. Like again, even if it's not totally gonna like recreate the genre, like sometimes that's not what you need. Sometimes you just need a good wee time, and this is definitely just a good wee time. This Kenny Beats and Rico Nasty project is a little bit too shallow for my liking, and the skits just doing nothing for me. I don't know why Kenny seems to keep doing this. He is like a funny guy, like he always seems to get like really funny episodes out of like the whole Cave series he's doing, but just never seems to like translate to his albums. But that being said, I think Rico and Kenny have got good chemistry, and when it's good, it is good. It will take up hardly any of your time. It's dead, just like to the point. So check it out, because even if you don't end up liking it, it's gonna hardly take up any of your time. But I do think you're gonna come out of it liking at least one of the songs on here. Yeah, this is like a little kind of like spoken word piece, like with some like dark ambient accompanying it. And I thought it was kind of cool in that regard. I think it took a little while to get up and running, and just the way that the first song kind of mixed, like I was finding it hard to, intentionally or not, I was finding it hard to like really get myself like kind of like enamored by it. But as it went on, I do think that it starts to touch on a lot of like anxious feelings. Like I was getting a little bit of like secondhand cringe in a sense, because I was like, oh my god, this sounds like somebody like I would know, or even at times like, oh, that's probably something that I would have ended up doing. So yeah, it's definitely kind of cool in that regard. So, and again, it seems to be getting not as much love as it probably deserves, so I would go check that out over in Bandcamp. Tyboy just seems to be a bit too when I say one note, I think more in just in terms of his delivery, because the production he's accompanied by in here sometimes is just I'm addicted to it. Like it is sometimes just that good. Just as a rapper, just he's not the star of the show here. It's the production throughout that just really seems to get me. And though there are moments where like I feel like he's definitely showing that he's not totally like worthless and like being involved in here. Especially the song Kit Kat is one that I keep coming back to. So definitely again, when I compare it to other artists of the same kind of like cloth, cut from the same cloth, definitely probably is a bit above like somebody like Blade. But yeah, I'd like to see him try just a bit more. He'd already dropped one of my favourite EPs of the year. And I was super looking forward to seeing what else Will Smith is going to be doing for the rest of the year. We'll be talking about Origami later on. But for now, I do like this EP. I can't understate the quality of songs like Flora and Raila 40. The latter, by the way, I've just been like adding that to whatever playlist I can, because it is just such a pleasure. I just do think that the palette here there's definitely more of an ambition here, like to be. There's not like that kind of, well, there's the moments of just being kind of like that energy coming in. Like I think it's trying to be a bit more sort of artsy, which is good, because it's always good to have a bit of a change. I don't think the palette's quite evolving at the same speed, so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening next here. But I do think it's worth checking out, as is pretty much everything that Will Smith's put out this year. So obviously I'm friends with the aforementioned Buffalo, but honestly, like this is like one of those cases where I have no qualms like bigging up something. Like I genuinely do like it. So this one, like I say, palette needs a bit of a shaking up, I think, for the next release, but this one still definitely feels like a change in some sort of fundamental way. I've been looking forward to this album for the longest time. I think everyone in the Scottish music scene has, but you can't rush anything. You have to be patient, and so when this album finally came out, I was eager to check it out, and I definitely do think it's worth the wait. The only kind of problem I think I'd have with it at all is sometimes the production seems to like not quite do the songs justice. I find the song Hit quite catchy, but I'm really expecting this like really like almost like cataclysmic ending to it, and it kind of provides that a little bit, but it just feels like it's getting a little bit sort of nerfed a little bit. But that being said, there's just some really cracking synth pop songs on here, like stuff like makes me think of like the glory, I mean not like glory days, but like those like glory moments of like, you know, like the Killers during the noughties and all that, kind of Phoenix and whatnot, especially the song Holy Ghost. That one just, I keep coming back to that far too much. So, and also the chemistry between Jeanne and Marie is just, I don't know if I've like unintentionally said Marie like with too much of a French accent there, but like they've both got a great chemistry. They both stand their own ground when it comes to like them just being the sole spotlight, but when they both come together, just like makes for the best moments on here. So support us Scots and support Vegan Liver, check this out because maybe you'll end up liking it even more than I did. Well, this project's certainly true to its name. It's definitely fun at points. I'm still getting around to like getting into every single song, but there's stuff like Mannequin Challenge where I'm just like, oh, it's definitely the best form that Young Thug's been on for the longest time, probably since like 2016. I'm sure David Rowe will probably angry at me for saying that, but I think the only kind of like problem I have is like, yeah, some songs just seem like they're just there for the sake of it, and some of the features, especially is it Nav, like what is he doing on here? So definitely some stuff holding it back, but I'm definitely glad I gave this a go, especially after how underwhelming that project put out last year was, like the big collaborative one. So yeah, if you're in the same boots, go give it a go. That's just a seductive, emotive, and just like showman-esque album here. I was kind of underwhelmed by Oxnard last year, but Anderson .Paak really brings it here. He like pays tribute to a lot of like just where he's came from in terms of his sound, and I just find myself just like I can't help but just like give him my total attention. I know sometimes, especially myself, when it comes to an album, even if I like it, like I kind of like put it on and do something else. I can't quite do it with this album. I feel like it's just so passionate in that regard, so definitely makes up for what, again, I thought Oxnard was a bit of a disappointment. This is definitely back, I kind of step up back to kind of Malibu level for me. So Big Thief brought out 2 albums this year, and for me this might be the weaker of the two, but that is just, I don't even want to kind of say that word because it's still really, really good, and it's still growing on me with each listen. I do think it's just like new chemistry that the band have found it's just gave them this burst of life, even if they're not like this super energetic act. Like you can just tell it's having some sort of effect on them. In terms of my favourite song on here, it's either Shoulders or Cut My Hair. Maybe not. Like they're like the top 3 on there. But even though it's maybe like a bit more straightforward than UFOF, I still think there's plenty of just endearing, charming moments on here. So Big Thief are just, after this year, there's no reason not to be like keeping your eye on them. Now Bon Iver, I was kind of just whatever on it for the longest time, and now I had like a morning commute yesterday, and it was dead frosty, and it's just doing so much for me. Just like I just love this big mix of like more experimental moments that they had on their last album, and then just like the kind of just like the great folk stuff that they kind of like have made their brand on. Sure, it's maybe not kind of like making that sort of like, I mean, it'll be like a big step forward for them in any regard, but I still don't think there's anything to scoff at here. IMI, that one, I'm hooked to it at the moment, absolutely hooked to it. So who knows, this might end up getting bumped up a category above with a few more listens. The sax, clarinets and drums on here on this new jazz album, just they transport me into another world. Like I was listening to this on the train, I think it was yesterday, the day before, like to make sure I had like a proper solid final impression on this, and I felt like when I was going to get off that train, I was going to end up like on another galaxy. Like I was going to open the door and just I was going to like go like blue in the face, like from like this new found place. It's just one of the most I was going to say experimental, but I suppose in the way that the emotions that it conjures up in me, and just the ideas that are in my head whenever I'm hearing it, just seriously impressive. Let me get this out of the way here. Yeah, Three Tears just feels like more of a RTJ song. There's a Danny Brown one, and Shine has some kind of like so bars on it. Like there's one where he's like saying like how life ain't a movie, there's no sequel, which is something that like Nicki Minaj said years beforehand. I didn't think it was good then, I don't think it's good now, but everything else on here is great. Best Life is like one of the most motivational, inspirational songs that Danny ever put out. And in a similar regard, the song Dirty Laundry is one of the funniest songs he's ever made as well. And then Savage Nomad just makes him sound like some like nut job, like kingpin. It's going down to like saloons and that, just really making an impression. That laugh that he does, just like, so cool. So even though it's anything after Atrocity Exhibition, it was always going to feel a bit underwhelming, like my favourite album in the decade, like it was going to happen. But man, that still have a good time with this album, definitely do. The best kind of electronic music for me always just conjures up these images in my head that just make it feel just so much more substantial, and Floating Points did a good job on that. I feel near the end of it, it's definitely just starting to like lose its energy a little bit, But at the start, man, that's like the first song feels like some sort of like Breath of the Wild ROM hack that somebody's trying to do in like the GameCube or something, and it's really struggling to get through. And you're hearing like all the the unpolished like crackles in it like starting to match in. She's like beautiful, just like arrangements. Oh, it made me feel like I was just like in that again, just like walking around these fields, and just like as I was going along, it was just getting more kind of like it's starting to disintegrate. Oh, and there's just so many like cool moments like that. So one of the most interesting albums of the year for me for sure. I was indifferent to the album that Future put out early on this year, and when I heard he was going to put like an emo rap album out, I was thinking, that sounds interesting to me. And it definitely is. Just feel a bit more empathetic here. He just seems like he's trying a lot more. I think that has continued when it's came to other features that he's done since this EP. I just find it just really addictive, and the mood that it creates is just like so thick and just easy, just kind of immerse yourself into. So this is best thing he's put out since DS2 for sure. This mix of just like claustrophobic horror, the pulsating rhythms, and just the claustrophobic horror of this release, just I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed. It kind of does the same job that that Puce Mary album last year really did for me, where I just kind of like I just felt uneasy. Like I had to listen to it like in my bed in the corner, just kind of like making sure that like nothing's gonna creep up on me. I've not listened I've not listened to a lot of industrial techno, so I can't say for certain like how boundary breaking it is. But for me anyway, this felt like very little that I've heard this year, or any year for that matter. It isn't lost on me why somebody might see this just being kind of run-of-the-mill post-punk, but for me, I thought some of the danceable grooves on here, and just some of the more kind of like just really fucking noisy like Nine Inch Nails, like kind of like industrial noise stuff on here. Oh, it was great. It definitely isn't like a front to back scorcher by any means, but it had to be interesting. I'm definitely intrigued to see what girl band ended up doing on LP3. I don't know if any of you guys remember Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs, but this one definitely reminded me of it. It's a bit more of like a friendlier, more kind of like tangy kind of flavour of indie electronica, but a lot of the same appeal still holds true. Of course, when you're obviously going by like leaks and unfinished tracks and that can sometimes be a bit of a detriment to it. But on the same hand, songs like Genevieve and that just like are phenomenal. Like it makes me sort of like intrigued to see like, oh my god, like this is like what has like just kind of scraps on the floor, like what can be like fully polished songs gonna be like. So I'm looking forward to an album that's fully that, but for the meantime, this is definitely going to go down well. This was like a really compelling wee album, like performance and instrumentally wise, it does the job. It's definitely like an album that is a singer-songwriter album. It's definitely kind of more the lyrics for me that usually stand out in that regard. And there's just some tales on here that just make me feel kind of sick to the stomach. Just due to how like realistic they are, that's the thing. When it comes to like songs like Body, Head Alone, and When the Family Fly In, I think it's called. The other songs definitely stand out in my mind. I do like this, even if it's not something I'll return to a lot just because some of it can be a little bit heavy. I've maybe calmed down this album a tad, but I still think it's just a gorgeous pop album that honestly, like, there's so many great songs on here, but California is the one that I don't think is getting enough attention from some people. Just such a great love song that just like it's kind of interesting because obviously Lana Del Rey like loves this like Americana, like looking at these like far gone decades. There's a plane going about just now, but ignore that. But kind of flipping about the kind of toxicity that would have like been around then. It still remains now. But kind of like using that and kind of like giving it your own sort of like kind of lick of paint to it. I thought was pretty cool. It's definitely a song that made me feel very teary-eyed. And Lana, just like, I know some people don't like her vocals, but I found them to be more endearing than ever on here. So a great record here. Keeping things spoiler-free here, but the latest season of Mr. Robot has been more intense than ever, and the soundtrack that it's using is very much on that same level as well, much more immediate. Sometimes feels like you're just drowning in all this digital chaos that's going on. It's one that I think maybe because I'm watching the show, maybe it's like I'm thinking of all the episodes that it correlates with, but even then I still think that there's like fundamentally, when you break it all down, I think Matt Quills has done a great job just creating this evocative, mostly ambient, but like tense, almost like born on being kind of house music at points. So if you've not checked it out already, then check out the show and also check out this soundtrack because it's worth your time. I do find that this album seems to kind of drag on a bit longer than it needs to, but when it comes to trying to find the good songs in this album, then I guess you could say that they're easy to. So Oliver Tree gets this like whole like meme like praise and that, which makes total sense. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel I kind of feel bad for the guy because he's making some genuinely like just great fun music that could like spans all these different genres and influences, like kind of like 21 Pilots at points, like My Chemical Romance, like Little Peep, like it's just a fun cool album that the more I listen to, like the more it actually like touches me like deep down. So I'm excited to see like what a full album would be like. I know some people are going to complain that some of the songs are like, I think one of the songs that are on here came out like early last year or something like that. Bit of a weird choice, but I still think the song in question, I think it's Space Boy. Still think it's pretty good. I was really excited for this album. The follow up to The Dream Is Over, one of my favourite albums of the decade. And while it's not like a massive leap forward for the band, pop just like they know how to make this great pop music that just makes me just want to like thrash about and just have a great time. Yeah, just like if they honestly if they kept making albums like this, I'm not gonna complain. Like they genuinely just seem to have like a great knack for making this just addictive, really powerful music. Definitely some questionable decisions on this album here. I'm not quite sure about how I feel about the whole vocoder thing on Jogging, but that song just life affirming, super touching. A lot of this album is really touching, just having like all these like stories about problems that are going on nowadays. But the way that they're, especially Fulfillment Center, that's the one that's probably the centerpiece here. That just it's soul crushing. Like I really don't know how somebody could listen to this album and not come out of it feeling like a little bit sort of like lost for words, a bit weary. So some people think it's not as good as Peasant. I personally think that it's a very necessary, essential album for this year, even if you don't think it's properly great. What it's got to say and how it goes about saying it is definitely worth your time. My phone did the storage thing again. This is just a disaster. I don't know what may be causing this. But we're gonna start all over again. No, actually, we're gonna start a Russell Collective here. Which is, if you remember Gershon's Immunological Orchestra, I almost said that right. They had an album out last year that I reviewed. I thought it was good. This one cut above here. But My Baby has this like nice little Nick Cave interpolation. The opening track feels like the morning after a night out, and you're just like having this like hazy recollection of what was going on, picking it up piece by piece. And then there's a song Blanck, which just sounds just like a replica cut to me. And that's like the biggest compliment I can give to somebody. So I had a great time with this one. I can't wait to see what gets done with this Russell Collective project in the future. This Shy project, if you don't remember, in the Lord video, I said I was moving home, got a job up here near Glasgow, so I had to move away from my small town. This just sent me back home, like to like the nice little like rural pathways and just like all the little kind of like landmarks, like kind of like was just so nostalgic for me. Like there's this little like a little waterfall, this continuous little waterfall, and you know like all like little droplet sounds for this just like kind of immediately reminded me of that. It just transported me. It was a deeply impactful project in that way that it just kind of like Shy just used like it's not even fact like she like reminded me, like she used her ability to like really just like make those like little faraway memories just feel totally realised. So incredible job on that part. Flowtie can be a little bit clumsy in the lyric department at points, but just his energy is just so admirable. If anything, I think it just makes those little kind of like quirks just part of his kind of character. He's just kind of like a kid that's had like 20 brain liquors. It's just, yeah, it kind of shows that your political music doesn't have to be dead mundane, and I just find him to be just like a totally compelling character, which is kind of bumps up for me a little bit more than it probably would have if it was somebody that just wasn't quite all that energetic. Solange just has me in the palm of her hand. She could read me the most like mundane list of miscellaneous items, and I would just be like totally just like yeah, I need to hear more of this. The production as well, just like beautiful art pop that has like a bit more of kind of like trap production to it as well, which I found pretty cool. The people she had to accompany her on this, you just get some like cool production production folk on here, like Earl Sweatshirt is involved at one point as well. You get Pharrell as well, and then like in terms of just like general features, played with Carty, Tyler Creator, just like all just add to it so well. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the first time I heard this, I wasn't too stoked on it, but definitely now I'm definitely just Team Solange. Had no idea what this EP was going to be like, but the artwork kind of like has this like suburb on it, and it kind of like immediately reminded me of like kind of like these films and that during like the late 80s and 90s. It kind of like focus on like the dark underbelly of suburb life. I think the first two songs here definitely like kind of try and channel that energy and that mood to great effect. There's a song in here that just sounds straight up like an LCD Sound System song, which might be a bit of a mood breaker for some folk, but it was cool. It's called The Cleaner. So yeah, it's definitely like a varied album. Excited to see what this band end up doing next. A lot of folk that I know have been following S3D for a long ass time now. And this guy just seems to keep improving. Especially his singing ability now. I think it's definitely came a step above. His confidence as well just seems like he's just more self assured in himself, and I think that ends up in a lot more rewarding, insightful rapping in songs in general. Shut up, I'm trying to record a video. But yes, go check this out because I still think he's not getting nearly enough attention as of yet, but it's gonna happen. Nobody of this amount of talent is gonna be kind of kept at the wayside for much longer. Whether it's an egg on that front cover, like for this trying time, which still has definitely had a lot of when you listen to her on here, or just like some soap that like wash your mouth out with soap, like kind of like the older generations, especially men, just being condescending in that fashion. It doesn't really matter which is. It definitely kind of like tells you all you need to know about what you're getting yourself into here, and just Stella's like charm on here, personality, just makes it feel like a cut above like anything of the same ilk that I've heard in a long ass time. Don't know why I felt the compulsion to say long ass time. I think I was just getting a dry throat. There's not really much of like lyrical insight that's going to sell you on a cloud rap project like this, but the chemistry here, all these individuals on their own, I don't think are all that great, but when they come together, just like seem to just work so well, just like a house on fire. Kind of wish Young Liam was on this a bit more. He's on the first song, and it's just one of the best songs on here. But I just find myself obsessed. Like it's the production and the melodies on here, just like are just. At first, I was just like, oh yes, it's kind of like an alright album with some cool bits here and there, but like I've just embraced it at this point, and you should too. Radiohead Daddy has came through with it here, not really breaking boundaries at all, but honestly, at this point when it's like the fidelity is so high, there's so much care and attention made to it, you really just can't deny that it's a good project. Maybe you want a bit more from it, but for me, I just feel like every song just feels quite realised, so it might be a bit safe in that regard, but if this is safe, then oofed. Talked about Phil Smith a bit earlier there. Origami has been one of my most played albums of the year. Just seems the soundtrack just near enough anything, and just has this constant sense of propulsion. It just constantly just keeps going and going. I just find that properly admirable. Just that sense of immediacy is just. Yeah, there's no wonder why I've listened to it so much at this point. So I do think that this just goes to show how great a year that Will Smith has had. I was made aware of this album because I've been told of like the relation or sharing of DNA to Twin Fantasy, which is like my runner up for best album last year. And yeah, I can see why it's definitely not as polished as the 2018 Twin Fantasy. But I think the whole lo-fi-ness, like that kind of like lack of clarity, totally ties into the whole thematics going on. My Sputnik Sweetheart, great long chunky song. I do get a bit nauseated with some of the production on here, but like honestly, like it's you kind of have to take it or leave when it comes to this sort of music. It has a Persona 5 sample on it, and I found that interesting because it totally touches into all like kind of like your otherness, like trying to find like your true self. And I found that really powerful, and I'm sure lots of people have found this like a great comfort to themselves throughout the year. And I can totally see why it's on its way to becoming one of my favourites of the year for sure. 6 years away, and then people are going to just keep on whining about this album, and I can totally see what the complaints might be. But honestly, I have a good time with this. Bambina, it just has like the peppiness of Contra, but also has like that kind of like lovely moody fuzziness as more on Vampires of the City. And there's just a lot of just really great moments. People don't like Sunflower. I think Sunflower is great. I just think it's just so lively and just fun. Like I just feel like I'm like in on some like circle that I've never been part of, and it's just we're always having a great wee time. So I think there's definitely some songs that could have been cut here or there, but when it's good, it just feels like Vampire Weekend have never been gone, and that's a pretty great compliment I can give to it. This one's definitely up there for like the general consensus of like, oh, what's the best album of the year? And I can totally see why it feels almost extraterrestrial at point, like especially some of the backing instrumentation that Wise has, just like makes you feel like you're just like floating about. And her singing as well is just so lovely. So I feel like it's still growing on me a little bit. I could very well be kind of like gang Wise Blood at some point soon. But as it stands, I just think like everything about this, there's not really like a part of it where I feel like it's dead weaker. That just at the moment everything's quite good, and before you know it, maybe I'll just end up having Titanic rising. maybe it'll rise up this list. I've been recording this for like 3 hours now. My brain's gonna be turned to fucking mush. I really wasn't expecting to like this to the extent that I did, but I'm so glad that I do. To keep things like to stop me rambling so much about it. Just like the newfound chemistry on here is just you can't deny it. And even when it comes to like the covers of songs that were on Adrian Lenker's album last year, Abyscus, when they're putting like this group context, just it's just magical. Like Terminal Paradise on Abyscus was meant to sound like this kind of like isolated experience, was like going through this pain, but on UFOF it just feels like camaraderie, like coming around somebody that's going through this hard time. It's stunning and so addictive. And the year of Big Thief. No lack of energy when it comes to UK artists here. I think that's what I said in the slow tie one. I recorded that 3 times already, but Black Midi are definitely probably even more energetic, probably a cut above there. Schlagenheim, is that how you say it? It's definitely got like its political merits there. I think the reason why so much love is getting thrown its way is just probably because it never knows what way it's gonna go. Even if you listen to it like 3 or 4 times, like it still just feels unpredictable. But it just, I think that's probably the reason why I like it. It just feels like so flubbery, and crazy, and just full of energy. And yeah, I really don't know how they're gonna top this. But hey, I guess where there's a will, there's a way. So maybe we'll end up having something even more admirable, so much more like worth critical acclaim than this. But as it stands, what we've got right now, this is good. This is very good. There's been some complaints about this album being a bit too one note, and I don't really agree all that much. I can sometimes like try and like, okay, I can stretch a little bit and see what you're meaning, but nah, this feels just like if Ratchet and Clank got like a M-rated reboot, like by the same folk that made Doom. It just feels like I'm just like that, just the propulsion, I'm just like flying through space at like breakneck speed, and it feels terrifying at points, but other points it just feels totally triumphant that I'm like persevering, I'm getting through all these limitations that have been set, and it does that without like any sort of like lyrics or that. It just kind of like goes to show, just like that's the best kind of like electronic album for me, is one that can conjure up those images and one that can just make me feel stuff that without even saying anything. So this is up there. I should probably praise this album just now, because like it's just all these versions of great songs and a live setting. I find it to be almost better than like, well, I find it to be better like a fair chunk of stuff I've heard this year already. But I just keep remembering that Toledo told me to fuck off in Glasgow. I've already mentioned so far these instances where it's like a change in environment can just radically change your opinion of an album, and No Geography is like a perfect example of that. First time I heard it, I just kind of thought, yeah, whatever, like Chemical Brothers, like they're not really doing all that much interesting nowadays. Listened to it when I was walking from the house to my train, and yeah, it just seemed to take this new energy. And I feel like I was on a journey, on a quest. It was only like a 5-minute walk, but just the way that it soundtracks it, and just like the journey through like all these different airs and cultures that are like intentional by the Chemical Brothers, just like definitely has its intended effect. Like I say, I was kind of thinking to myself, what's the point of Chemical Brothers coming back? But this kind of shows that they're as good as they've ever been. I don't dislike a single song on this. I think the burning piano bit goes on a bit too long. I know it's intent though. I think it's still kind of cool. But the rest of this album, man, just I could go on about it for ages and ages. But of course, I'm going to talk about what song was it? Run for Your Life, where you just like, you hear that beat just going about in the car. Just I don't know how no one's ever thought of that already. But La Chat, is it? Formidable. I felt very scared. Like I had like my headphones like on right next to me. I'm just like I'm worried there's somebody behind me just like saying this like very crisply to me. So this has definitely made me kind of like a convert to clipping at the moment. I thought Wriggle was a great EP, and this album is probably the best thing I've ever put out. I could go into a whole diatribe about this album just now, or mixtape, whatever we're going to call it. But all you need to know is that I've listened to Voices and Mud, two of the songs on here, must be about like 20 to 30 times, and it gives me chills without fail. There have been a point where I'm just like, it's on, whatever. Like, Jane, I'm just kind of like, ooh. So if Flim just hit it out of the park here. I've always thought he was like a good enough little, like producer in that, but nah, he is just showing his worth here. I cannot wait to just like see what he ends up producing next. But this album, I think, is my most listened to of the year so far, if I'm remembering correctly. Just totally obsessed. If you remember my EPs of the year list last year, then you'll remember that Hachi was fairly high on there, and I was thinking to myself, well, should be able to like release something even better than this. Yeah, she did. Secret, Obsessed, Stay With Me, 3 of the best songs on here. I think it's obviously easy to kind of like try and just immediately go for other like dream pop juggernauts like Cockatoo Twins and that, but honestly, like I feel like the more and more I hear of it, the more I think, yeah, she's like really coming to her own here. I'm super excited to see what the future likes for her. But yeah, just in general, like I guess the best dream pop album of the year. If we're gonna categorize it like that, not quite sure if I prefer this to Veteran yet, but yeah, the production is undeniably a big step up here in terms of fidelity. Anyway, like I guess you could prefer the Veteran production, but this just feels like so much more unpredictable, so much more glossy, just so much more impressive. Just so much more impressive. Peggy can at points get a bit too one note lyrically. I can't really deny that, but I'm never left bored. And all I really complain is that I wish that JPEG Mafia type beat. I just kind of wish that I got fleshed out into its own song. But honestly, there's so many high points on here, so many high points. To the very end, I was just like, I don't want this to end. Like, I was listening to it in a listening part, actually, this just like keeps on surprising me. Cynical and realistic. There's not much music to dissect on here, but in terms of what Kate Tempest is talking about, the picture of Britain that she paints, how fractured it is, kind of universal in that point. I'm sure you could listen to it as like an American or whatever and kind of get something out of it. But I was listening to this yesterday, waiting on my taxi for like half an hour, listening to this for it, and I was just like, everything was just like popping out to me even more, to the point where I wouldn't be surprised while editing this video that I'm thinking, I'm going to put this the category above, because just no one's quite captured the state of the world this year quite like Kate Tempest has. Just a unreal job. It wouldn't really be a comeback round if I didn't talk about Kiriko Nito, this new EP. I'm not sure if it's going to be the next generation of them, or if it's just kind of like a wee detour. But honestly, I'm super interested in their like a lot more self-aware or like socially aware lyrics. I've always been kind of aware. That's something we can always get into another day. If this time it's more blunt than ever. Hearing Sarah go on about like just like authoritarianism, just like the apathy that can develop in that, but she also sounds like super kind of like motivational in that, and the production as well. Like Jamie and Gus, just seem to keep stepping up the production on every album, especially here for like battle lines, just like that kind of like tribal flair on it. Like just feels so primal. Just feels like almost kind of like glossy and gritty all at the same time. So no surprises here. I like this release. I'm a sucker. Chris is like so much more than just like a funny guy, but like definitely his comedic chops just make him like a cut above many other rappers. And with Guns, he's managing to really balance that social awareness, as well as just making sure that he's always like keeping you chuckling. Probably my highlight would be Obamacare. It really manages, like, it's pretty catchy actually. But like with the opening track, just like I just love his voice. That one especially just felt like he had like his like head, just like his chin like nestled into my shoulder there, and just like whispering everything in a way that I just like felt kind of uneasy, if I'm being honest. So there's definitely like a myriad of reasons why I just find myself liking this album, just like different reasons for it all, but at the end of the day, they're all positive. I have a best songs of the year playlist, like link in the description, and the whole reason I had to like set myself a limit of like 3 songs per artist was because of this album. Because honestly, if at the start it was like 2 songs, and then I was just like, I need to bump up to 3 now, because like House of Sugar just keeps bringing the goods. And I would be hesitant to say it's like a happy album. There's definitely songs where it's like you're talking about like death, addiction, and that, like it definitely hits you hard there. But there's like songs like Southern Sky where like I just feel safe. Maybe it's just like the fact that moment of safeness just stands out in the grand scheme of the album. I've already said this whole thing about like an album having a heart, but like this just feels, it feels like a step above of the other work that I've heard from Alex, but also just feels kind of nice. It's just like a real sense of love and affection put in here. Sometimes it's like genuine, like just love, but other times it can be just kind of like the loss that brings out that love. I'm losing my fucking mind here, lads. I'm losing my mind here. But the genuine opinion that I've got here is this is a great album that is super varied, super versatile, and just impresses me with every listen. It's been about half a year. It's been about half a year since Eager dropped. First listen, I kind of just thought it was whatever. But oh my god, like I've went through this whole journey where I was like thinking this is album of the year, like nothing's gonna top this. And I did kind of change my tune a little bit, like brought it down a wee bit, and it came back up. And now it's just, at this point, I just know it's a fantastic album. This is why I'm glad I've dropped the ratings, because I just would not be consistent at all. But the narrative and the concept, I find to be executed in a fashion where maybe it's not totally unique in the sense like there's been albums about this, but the way that Tyler does it, just I feel satisfied for him that he managed to pull this off. The production as well. I think it's New Magic Wand where it just sounds like he's in the laboratory, just like playing the percussion off like these like little glass test tubes and that. Just really paints a picture. And yeah, I don't really think there's like a bad song. I think the only song that I feel somewhat like kind of down on is maybe I Think, because the delivery is a bit too monotonous. Maybe that's obviously could be intentional, but that's the only thing that's kind of stopping me chucking up the category above at the moment anyway. But yeah, maybe not as good as Flower Boy, but that's just, there's no point even comparing them. They're like two different beasts, and just kind of like it's weird to see how Tars went from how he was at the start of the decade to where he is now, because he is just a class above. This is like if it's like if the Red Room in Twin Peaks was trying to like appeal to like a bunch of like millennials in the year like 2060. It just feels from another planet entirely. I already said in a review that I put up about it, like how it's like if my phone from 2007 got chucked into like a vat of acid, and then just like decided to like kind of just like, you know what, I'm gonna go make music. It is just the fucking most absurd imagery ever. And I can totally see why so many people hate it. Even my girlfriend hates it and kind of judges me for liking it. But you know what? It just strikes a chord with me. Just really strikes a chord with me. One of the, probably the most experimental album I've heard this year, and one that just definitely benefits from just how bonkers it is. This is like the kind of album where like if somebody asked me like, oh, is there any albums from this year that like I might have missed out on, like, well, people in my community seem to all know about it. Like, I just keep bringing up this one, the Billywoods one. The production here is dark and sinister, sometimes dazzling as well. But Billywoods himself is like the main guy here, the one you're paying attention to here. And this makes me angry listening to this album, because his wordplay, is just his lyricism. Every song has like more than a handful of stuff where you're kind of like going, how did he come up with this? How somebody not already came up with this? He's just such a genius. Like this kind of album, if you've got genius and you're like doing all the annotation, this like this kind of thing that make you blow your fucking load. Yeah, this is like, I'm hesitant to call it anything like, oh, this is like the hip hop album of the year, unless like there's like, obviously if there's something up in a higher category, like I'm gonna say that. there's gonna be no hip hop albums. I'm not gonna say too much just now, but this is a very lyrically invigorating project for sure. What a surprise! Liam the Music Reviewer likes the new Carly Jepsen project. But honestly, guys, like, I really wasn't expecting this to be as good as Emotion. I actually think it's better than Emotion. I think just the passion and the love, just that she delivers these songs with, just feels so authentic. I think her performance like somehow got even better, even though I feel like that was never a problem on Emotion or Side B. The songs that stand out to me the most, like even the song that didn't stand out to me too much at the start, which was No Drug Like Me. I kind of thought like whatever, like we're coming another song about like drugs and intimacy and that, but no, like I was just finding myself, funnily enough, like addicted to it. Real Love definitely a standout here, the one where I'm just like near tears whenever I'm listening to it. Just totally just captivates me. Totally captivates me. Yeah, like this is like just add to this claim for like best pop artist of the year or best pop artist of the year, best pop artist of the decade. But this is a very strong contender for best pop album of the year for me, definitely. My legs went dead. My legs went dead. Dorian Electra might be my favourite new artist of the year. I think I'll probably say this because the flavour of bubblegum bass here is definitely different from somebody like 100 Gex, but oh my god, like again, I'm gonna mention heart and authenticity. This is why I shouldn't leave 100 albums to review at once. But honestly, like when it comes to like Career Boy, Man to Man, Adam and Steve, it just feels like there's just something that can really like kind of touch somebody that's been through that, or like I can understand some of the sentiments throughout here. But even though it's got the heart there, at the end of the day, it's just a really fun album. Musical Genius is just cannot keep up with it at times. Live by the Sword is also just super intense and in your face. I just think Dorian just has such a presence to themselves that just makes them unlike anyone I can really recall in the past year or so. Like, I guess the only person I can really think of is maybe somebody like Karen J. Callanan, but like Karen J. Callanan mixed in with like a whole hodgepodge of like Katamari Damacy and other like wild characters. Just hats off to them, and I can really hope they play the UK soon, or well, hope they play Scotland so I can go see them. Please. This is probably one of the like most heartbreaking albums of the year. I've always quite liked the FKA Twigs, and it seemed to be like this was having like anti-hype. What do you call anti-hype? Like discourse, like boycotting. There wasn't any boycotting going on, but it seemed like everyone was just kind of like, oh, this single sucks. Oh, this single isn't that good either. But I was digging each and every single, and now that it's finally came to getting like a full album here, just it definitely, like, you can tell it's a breakup album, and it feels much kind of like the artwork, kind of like looks like FKA Twigs is literally just picked up all this emotional baggage, just all these little like shards, and tried to piece them all together, and it just makes this sometimes scatterbrained, sometimes just like so fragile, but intense, just like pure and unfiltered emotion. And I find myself just kind of like picking up on new details every time. I really wasn't expecting a new like top or front runner in like the last month or so. I always make sure not to bring out my album of the year list just to make sure that I can save myself some face. But yeah, I'm happy that I've enjoyed this to the extent that I did. So yeah, this is. I don't know how to end sentences. Last but not least, the new Injury Reserve record, or say the new one that came out months ago now. Liam, shut up. I saw these guys live. They were almost as shattered as I am just now. They put so much effort into their work, both live and when it comes to their albums. There's just no end to the great stuff on here. I guess it's one song that everyone's gonna kind of like take away from this, probably Jailbreak the Tesla. It's futuristic as fuck. It just sounds like a total anarchy anthem to me. But even just when it comes to like the more kind of like emotional, sentimental songs, even like the closer, like Free Man Weave, like it just goes to this is just like I keep going on about like one note albums, like during like the middle of this video. When it comes to versatility, this one's been up there for me. Just I'm always just kind of like just on the edge of my seat. Like I'm always like, oh, this is going this way. This is definitely the best listening experience that I've had this year. I guess positive wise anyway, it came to listening to it and a listening party, listen. I've definitely had some bad listening experiences this year that are good, but this one here, I was just like, I had my jaw on the floor. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? What's going on? And I still get it that way. Listen to it now. I don't know if I would say it's their best work because I still very much like Floss, but this one's a goodie. I think that's everything. I think we've done all the 100 albums. Oh god, give me a second. I'm trying to get up. Give me a second. And there we have it. 100 albums reviewed in I don't know how long. I'm recording the video just now. You really expect me to know that. But thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you care about scores and all that, they're fun. I'll leave links to my Rate Your Music and Album of the Year accounts down there. Playlist to my favourite songs of the year. And other than that, this has been a drama-free roundup right now. I'm sure nothing will possibly go wrong. So until next time, guys, I'll see you soon. Stay safe and stay hydrated. Yeah, nothing's going wrong.